Good morning. It is Thursday, and today we're going to be learning about Arctic chimeras. If you had a look at this picture, I wonder if you could make a prediction about what a chimeras is, because that looks like a crazy, oopsie daisy, sorry about that, animal. Long ago, people imagined creatures that were made up of more than one type of animal. What different animals make up this pretend creature? Look at the body, head, tail, and feet. Pretend creatures made up of many types of animal parts are called, it's chimeras, chimera. Chimeras were often characters in ancient storytelling, but you might recognize some chimeras in today's story too. Imagine an Arctic polar bear with the wings of an eagle. If a predator animal with the size and strength of a polar bear swooped down from the sky, its prey wouldn't stand a chance. The fun thing about imagining chimeras is that you can give your creature the adaptive features of more than one animal, so it's better able to survive in its ecosystem. Imagine an animal from another ecosystem has been magically transported to the Arctic tundra. Let's help it survive in its new ecosystem by giving it some Arctic animal adaptations, creating our own chimera creature. Why might an animal from a different ecosystem, such as the hot desert or wet rainforest, struggle in the Arctic ecosystem? What if a giraffe got transplanted to the Arctic? Giraffes usually live in the African savanna ecosystem. The savanna has a hot, dry climate and grassy plains. What's different between the Arctic and savanna ecosystems? The Arctic tundra ecosystem is a wide open land with fierce wind and extreme cold. One difficulty a giraffe would face in the Arctic tundra is keeping warm, since they're used to living in a warm savanna ecosystem. Let's think of animal features that could help it out and turn the giraffe into a chimera. Giraffes have short fur to avoid overheating in the savanna, but they wouldn't have that problem in the Arctic tundra. What are some good Arctic animal adaptations for staying warm? Some Arctic animals have two layers of coat to keep warm: soft fur next to their skin, and an upper layer of long, thick hair. These two layers keep body heat from escaping like a big blanket. Birds in the Arctic, like the snowy owl, have a thick layer of feathers packed close together to keep heat from escaping. Under the thickest feathers on the outside is an inner layer of fluffy down feathers that keeps them warm. Polar bears have an extra need for staying warm. They often swim in the icy Arctic Ocean to catch their prey. Have you ever jumped into a freezing cold ocean or swimming pool? How did you feel after you got out? Luckily, polar bears have adapted to their cold environment. They're covered in a thick layer of fat under their fluffy coat of fur, which keeps body heat from escaping. The black skin on their nose, paws, and under their fur absorbs heat from the sun, which also helps to keep them warm. If we want our giraffe chimera to survive in the Arctic, polar bear fur could help it to stay warm and survive. Giraffes camouflage well in the yellow savanna grasses, but they'd stand out in the white Arctic snow. Many animals in the Arctic have fur that changes color in different seasons, turning more white in the snowy winter and brown for the summer. How do you think changes in color help prey animals. Let's make our chimera's fur change colors with the seasons. That will help it camouflage better in the Arctic tundra ecosystem and hide from predators. What about the giraffe's long, thin legs and small hooves? Remember, the Arctic ground is usually frozen and cold and often slippery. What Arctic animals' legs and feet might be good choices to help our giraffe chimera walk on snow and ice? Animals in the Arctic usually have thick fur covering their feet to keep them warm, the same way you probably wear thick shoes in the winter. We could give our giraffe chimera furry paws with sharp claws like the Arctic hare or the polar bear. Sharp claws are useful for gripping onto the ice. One foot option comes from the ptarmigan, which has one of the best adapted bird feet for the Arctic climate. It has scales on its feet to help it grip the slippery ice. The ptarmigan also has feathers on its feet to keep it warm. Since the giraffe is already used to having hooves, it might make sense to give our chimera hooves like the caribou. Caribou hooves are wider than giraffe's hooves, so they don't sink into the deep snow. Let's think about ears for our chimera. Animals in the Arctic often have smaller ears close to their heads and covered in fur. This helps to keep them warmer in their cold, windy ecosystem. Look at the difference in ear size between the Arctic fox and hare compared to their desert cousins who live in hot ecosystems. The shape of an animal's ears can also help it hear quiet sounds, which is useful for finding predators or prey. The Arctic fox has pointed ears that can catch the sound of prey animals nearby. Prey animals like Arctic hares use their long pointed ears to hear some of their sneakiest predators creeping up behind them. Let's give our giraffe chimera pointed hare ears so it can hear predators better. What do you think of our chimera? Do you think it would do well if we brought it back to the African savanna? What about other ecosystems? Now, design your own chimera creature. It can live in any ecosystem you want. What kind of features like feet, fur, and ears would you include to help it survive? So that's going to be something we're going to make today. So here they're just showing you the giraffe, chimera, polar bear, fur, hare, ptarmigan, snowy owl, caribou, and feathers. So when we meet, you're going to create your own chimera, and you're going to write maybe what kind of ears, fur, and feet it has. We'll do ears, fur, and feet. And you can decide what ecosystem it would live in, and then we're going to try to make those things work in that ecosystem. And I will see you back in a little bit.